Is there an economic model that can be both profitable and sustain the future? It sounds like science fiction, but to Ron Gonen, it's very real. Check us out, like, subscribe, share with your friends and family.
But right now, Ron Gonen is on the line with us. He's the founder and CEO of Closed Loop Partners and the author of a new book, The Waste-Free World. The website, closedlooppartners.com, the Twitter handle, Loop Fund, L-O-O-P, about an economic model for a profitable and sustainable future. Interesting. Ron, welcome to the program. Tell us about this.
Hey, Tom, great to be here today. And my book is focused on a transition that our firm is focused on implementing, which is a transition away from a linear economy to a circular economy. Post-World War II, we started to develop our products and packaging in a linear system where you would extract a natural resource. So if you're going to manufacture something in plastic, you're going to extract petroleum, metal, you're going to extract ore. You would manufacture using that natural resource into a product. It would be used once, and then it would be disposed of in a landfill. And that type of system was definitely in the financial best interest of the extractive industries, oil and gas, mining, timber, and in the landfill industries. Effectively, every time we bought a product, we would pay a fee for that natural resource extraction and a fee for its disposal. And we recognize that a circular system, one in which you use product design, material science, sustainable materials to manufacture without relying on natural resources, and then advanced recycling and remanufacturing systems to be able to reuse that material, would be in the financial best interest of consumers, taxpayers, and municipalities.
That's fascinating. What percentage of products that are manufactured right now do you think could be made in a way that draws from this closed loop, in other words, that are essentially recycled products, and that are manufactured in a way that makes it easy for them to be recycled?
Sure.
How far away from this are
we? We're accelerating towards it relatively quickly because the CEOs of major consumer goods companies are recognizing that focusing on circular systems is a way for them to reach their environmental goals while also increasing margins and reducing risk. And so we're starting to see concepts around the circular economy being infused into supply chains of some of the world's largest retailers and consumer goods companies. The global consulting firm Accenture released a report that they expect $4.5 trillion worth of value to be unlocked in this transition from a linear economy to a circular economy. And so now investors are also starting to take notice that there's a huge opportunity.
To what extent is there opposition to this? I mean, when we started talking about, for example, moving away from fossil fuels towards solar energy, back in the day, back when Jimmy Carter actually put solar panels on the White House and declared, actually passed legislation that would have created the nation's first solar bank. Well, actually, I'm not sure if he passed legislation, but he proposed this in this famous speech of his, the first solar bank that would have provided 20% of all of America's electricity from solar power by the year 2000. And of course, Reagan put the kibosh on that. But what came out after he did this was this massive lobbying and PR campaign from the fossil fuel industry saying, oh, solar will never work and it's pie in the sky and he's gonna double your electric bills and you don't want that and there's nothing to worry about. Global warming is nonsense. I mean, are you encountering that same kind of opposition, or has that horse left the barn?
Absolutely. We still encounter that type of opposition, and we expect that we'll continue to face that type of opposition. The good news is there's enough interest now aligning amongst consumers, taxpayers, government officials, CEOs of consumer goods companies, and investors that I think we've got enough momentum now to push that opposition back. The unfortunate thing about that opposition is it's been allowed for too long to game our economy in their own financial best interest to the detriment of us, the taxpayer, and the citizen. I think the disposal of products in landfill is a perfect example of that. Billions and billions of dollars are spent every year of our tax dollars to dispose of items in landfills. And it's not made transparent to us in our tax bill that that cost is our responsibility. And so we're effectively tricked into thinking you can just keep buying more stuff and keep throwing it out. The garbage truck just picks up the stuff every week. It seems to me like it's free. The more I generate has really no impact on the collection frequency. And that's actually not the case. It costs billions of dollars to dispose of all of these products and packaging in landfills. And we've been paying the cost to the betterment of the extractive industries and the landfill industries.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy, that linear thing. What about things like the forever chemicals? I mean, Mark Ruffalo did this movie about the, I think they're called perfluorates, these compounds that are the precursors to Teflon that not only live forever, but they're altering the gender of frogs and fish as they're dumped into rivers and appear to be causing cancers and other problems in humans. And now there's a whole book out about how they're crashing sperm counts. You know, American sperm counts are down by 50% since the 1970s, or 46%, which is pretty shocking. You know, this could lead to the end of the human race. So, two questions around that. Number one, how do you deal with the manufacturing process? For example, let's take the example of Teflon, where in that manufacturing process, they're using these chemicals that they're then disposing of in the rivers. How do you capture those chemicals, that chemistry? Number one. And number two, with compounds like that might be considered toxic, how do you recycle them?
You fix this through disclosure, transparency, and free markets. Back to my point earlier that the system has been gamed to the financial best interest of a few industries and to the detriment of us, citizen and taxpayer. If you told companies it's a free market, you're welcome to sell whatever you want, but you need to disclose what the ingredients are in what you're selling and what the potential impacts are. Is it healthy for someone to have this in their home? Is it neutral? You know, could it harm them? And if you mandated that type of disclosure, the consumer would force the market in the direction of companies that are good social actors. And we actually have a lot of data to support that. Look at the growth of companies like Seventh Generation, Method Cleaning Products. Those are two companies that were the first to market, being transparent about the chemicals that they use in their cleaning products and that those chemicals are healthy. And originally the market thought, well, only people that care about sustainability or the green movement will buy that product. And they were absolutely wrong. The market for both Seventh Generation and Method are far larger. It doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat, blue state, red state. If you're a parent, you want to know what your kid's digesting, what you're putting in your home. And so that's how I think you solve it, is you force transparency and disclosure to let the consumer decide.
Ron Gonen, we just have 10 seconds left. Are any legislators taking this seriously?
Absolutely. We're seeing a lot at both the federal and state level that I think will accelerate the circular economy. We're glad to see.
That's absolutely great. The book is called The Waste-Free World. The website